Hi, this is Eric with Sweat the Details, and today I'm going to play around with my new GoPro camera, and I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to go ahead and show you how I do an engine detail. I'll be doing this from start to finish, so it may be a bit long. I'll probably break it up into a couple videos, but you can see exactly what we're dealing with here. This is a 2005 Jeep Cherokee. I detailed this engine maybe 5 years ago, and it's accumulated a little bit of dirt and grime since then. First thing I'll start with is blowing out the engine, try to get rid of most of the loose debris.
Got that done.
First thing you want to do is locate the accessories that may be damaged by water. And first and foremost amongst them will be the alternator, which you can see is way down in here. You're going to want to cover that up, and some people have suggested covering it up with a piece of aluminum foil, which I can see the logic behind that, as there's not going to be any water intrusion at all. But the main problem you have is there's going to be metal attached to that alternator that's going to be hot. So you don't want to arc that over and to cause that metal to spark and let out that magic smoke that we don't want to see. Now this engine's cold. It's typically better to do this on a warm engine because of the degreasers and the chemicals. They work a little bit better with a little heat activation. But you don't want the engine to be hot, because if it's hot you'll cause steam. Now you can see I got this all covered up there. I like to find all the other electrical components, and this stuff here is just corrosion preventative. It's water displacing, so I like to spray anything that's electrical with this. It gives it a little sheen of protection on there, and it kind of repels the water. You can also use WD-40. The only caveat I'll throw in there with the WD-40 is that after a while it will start to eat the rubber. It's not good for rubber materials. If you're just detailing your engine once every couple of years, I don't really see it being a problem. But if you can get this from your local automotive parts store, then this is a lot better. And you see I just spray the end of the connectors. Anything I see that's electrical, I'll just give it a little shot there. And you gotta look
down in here, try to find anything you see. Hopefully this is showing up in the video. If it doesn't show up good, I'll just fast forward through it. Anything else? Got a big old electrical block here. Alright.
Next thing I like to do is take those same connectors, some old dirty towels in here, and I'll wrap them up. So when we start spraying water, we don't get any water intrusion on these connectors.
See, I got a whole bunch of dirty towels here. This is probably a perfect time for me to fast forward through the video as I'm doing this, so you won't hear anything I'm saying.
Now this is just Meguiar's super degreaser. Actually, this isn't even Meguiar's, this is Stoner's, but it's diluted 4 to 1. It's just regular degreaser. You can use simple green. I mean, there's a lot of different things out there. purple power, anything that basically eats grease is what you're looking for. And I'll spray the entire engine down with this. Sometimes I'll use my Tornador Black, but if you just got a spray bottle, that's fine. That's how I'll do it this time. I always like to start high, work my way down. You gotta remember there's 3 different angles to the engine, each side and then the front, so you want to make sure to hit it from all those different angles. I know some people freak out about the battery. I've never had an issue spraying the battery. Now you see I work my way to the front. I'll start hitting everything that I can see from the front now. Hands are getting tired, so this is probably the main reason I use a Tornador Black. You want to be careful around, some headlights have exposed wiring, the higher end BMWs, things like that. You don't want to get any liquid in there. I don't see anything exposed on this vehicle. See, I got a coilover exposed back here. These are all coilovers underneath here. You do not want to straight stream those. Actually, I'll go ahead and put a towel down on those just to be careful with them. This plastic compartment, I know for a fact pops up, but I like to leave it on when I do this just to keep everything covered up underneath. You can get crazy and take it off of there and detail everything underneath, but you got to be very careful where the coilovers are. You don't want any water intrusion in there. Now we've got this engine nice and soaked in degreaser. You can see it's already starting to do its work, eating all that nice gunky stuff up. That's when I'll hit it with the old pressure washer. This is just regular Karchers. I think this thing costs $100. Nothing special. 1600 psi. Like I said, I'll start on one side, start high, work my way around, and try to get every angle that I can see. Being careful not to direct spray anything that may be electronic or sensitive. The plastics is the main thing you want to get, because those usually clean up pretty nice. For any angles you might have missed. This is just your initial cleaning. See some stuff, we're getting some rust build up here. You definitely want to do this before you detail the car. You want this to be your first step, because you're going to get stuff everywhere. I'll hit the battery real fast. See the brake fluid's all nasty. That's your main electrical box. Make sure you don't have, I got the main portion covered up there, so So there's nothing else sticking out that may happen. Another box there. Just a quick clean off. You can see that's gotten probably 90%. That's probably 90% of what was on this engine. That took all of 5 minutes. And now I'll get a little more detail. You see I got the basic wheel woolly set here. I got a couple little detail brushes. And this is just your regular bucket of water with some Dawn soap, which is a great degreaser. And here I'll just kind of hit everything with a brush. Now this material here I've tried cleaning before. Sometimes it's mixed results. Some cars this material won't clean as well as others, so I tend to just avoid it at this point because you'll get these weird greasy streaks going down. I could try to clean it on this one just to show what I'm talking about, but I usually just try to clean the metal around the heat protector. I do suggest using a brush for everything under the hood, just for the fact that I tried using towels when I first did this and I ended up slicing my hand pretty good. You get some sharp metal underneath the hood that it's not really made to be rubbed on. People ask me a lot, what's the benefits to having your engine detailed? And the main benefit I would say is that if you have any type of issues with your engine, if you're leaking fluids from somewhere, you'll notice it a lot more quickly if your engine is clean as opposed to having a dirty engine. Plus, you know, looking under the hood, if you're trying to resell your car, that's going to be one of the main things. People always pop the hood, they want to see the engine even though they can't tell maintenance records or anything like that from your engine. But if you're the type of person who goes through the trouble to have a nice clean engine, then they'll make the assumption about you that you're obviously taking care of your vehicle. Also, the rubber hoses and tubes and stuff, you help keep them from getting dry rotted by keeping them moisturized with the dressing that you put on there. And all your plastics, same thing. You want to keep that protected. You want to keep it moisturized, keep it from dry rotting, cracking. Where's my big brush at? There it is. Anything you can touch, I'm going to go ahead and just give it a quick run down here, scrub it up a little bit. One thing I also suggest, if you're doing this onto a customer's car, make sure to start the car prior to starting, and make sure there's no engine check lights, no other kind of warning lights on, because if they are and you get under here and start messing with the engine, then that's going to kind of freak you out when you go to start the engine later and you see this engine warning light that your client didn't tell you about. So you just want to verify that beforehand, verify it with your client. If that's something they're wanting the engine done, just ask them, is there any warning lights on, and verify for yourself. Make sure there's no warning lights on so you don't get blamed for doing anything, for popping a code or any type underneath the engine. And I'm sure that I do my engine details differently than other people do, and I'll get the usual internet guys that tell me, hey, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong, which is fine. If you have a different way of doing this, I'd love to hear about it. If you got any other ideas or suggestions, let me know. This is how I've been doing it for the last 7 years. Works for me. You might have something else that you got in mind that you like to do. I've tried doing this with just my steamer before. It takes forever. It's not worth it. I've used just a tornado door. I've tried just wiping things down, but to get the nitty-gritty, get it